The delay is really tough because I end up with merch, and this is pretty much only, Black Friday type of days or like a Prime Day yesterday to get a sense. Not as much even. Prime Day is not big for me, but like starting Black Friday on, I'll use the order data to compare to the current spend because there'll be spend that happens and probably some orders in there that you just don't know yet, but I'll correlate that with, okay, is sales going up? Where's my spend at versus what my actual royalties are? And not having that would make it even tougher to be able to do on those high volatility days. Do you have any strategies that, like, we're in the heart of Q4, those last couple weeks of the holiday sales season, what's your strategy look like when you're like the day-to-day managing ads? Are you doing that like throughout the day?
Yeah, I am. Especially once we get to Black Friday and beyond, ads is all I do. I don't plan to create any more new assets or do anything else. I just do ads. So, I check my BSRs in the morning, I check my ads, I check if any of them have run out of money, so I have to do that before the 8 a.m. cutoff. I check the ACOS for them. I'll go in and look at the keywords, see if any keywords are not performing and need turning down, or they're underperforming, they need turning up. So I do that every single day. And going through the keywords takes quite a bit of time. Got a lot of keywords.
Are you looking at certain date ranges? Like, are you just looking at today's performance, or are you looking at like the last few days?
I start out on the last 30 days, and then I go down to, as we get nearer, I go down to 7, and then I go to yesterday. Yeah, because there's so much data coming through. I'm making so many sales on the two books that yesterday is a lot of sales and is enough to tell me where we are and what's happening, I think.
Well, I think the other part of that too is just how volatile and how quickly things can change, that you can't use 7 days ago. Like 7 days is an eternity in at least the last, from Black Friday on, which I recently did a short video just on like kind of Q4 on the roadmap. And once Black Friday happens, I don't use any of the data that happened before Black Friday, just because it's almost completely irrelevant at that point. Everything's different. That's how I operate anyways. But I do the same thing. I'll even look at today's data when I'm making decisions on, okay, do I increase this budget? Do I, where with the bids, is it probably more so for like budget increases and so forth, but bids occasionally too, to see I'll be able to compare what my spend is on this product versus the royalties on it and try to keep it in, I don't know, whatever I'm targeting at that time, maybe a third or even up to 50% at times if I'm being aggressive. But I wonder if you could end up correlating BSR to number of sales, or if that'd be kind of difficult to do, I suppose, with the volume changing.
I think if you monitor it daily like I do, you do get a rough idea. You do have a rough idea of where the BSR is to what sales are going to come in.
Maybe we'll just jump into this question. We kind of just started talking about it, but something I wanted to ask with just around just bids and budget, how crucial those are during Q4, especially Black Friday on till mid-December. How do you decide when to increase those bids and budget, and what are those factors that influence those decisions?
So the bids I would increase, well, I've put mine up now to get me going, but I would increase them based on ACOS again. I think I've got a pretty fair idea where they should be, but as I've learned, to learn, then I've just started off low and gradually increased them depending on the ACOS, the bids for each keyword. As far as budget goes, I do struggle with that because it's cash flow, and every year I try and retain profit to cover it. But then as the year goes on, because you get paid in February and you're not spending it till November, and things kind of, some of it kind of ekes away, and then suddenly I get hit with my corporation tax as well. So by the time Christmas comes, I thought I'd saved enough this year again, and I'm thinking I probably haven't, because I looked at what I spent last year in October, November, December on ads, and I'm thinking, ooh, it's going to be tight. I'm going to have to lend the business money again to get us through to February. And one of my big concerns is that I'm going to put out all this money for ads and then somehow lose my account and never get the sales back. So that's always, January, February is very nail bitey, and I try not to do too much I don't want to annoy Amazon in any way whatsoever. I try not to do anything radical or change things. I just sit tight, wait for the money to come.
I know that feeling. I feel like I have a similar thing. Not as long with merch. You only have the 1 month, but it's kind of like,
1 month.
Okay, I'm not touching a thing all through the month of January. We're going to wait till we get this royalty check clears, and then it's, which I haven't been creating products, so it's probably not as much of a concern at this point, but I know what you mean. And that's, I mean, it's unfortunate for sellers that they have to deal with this with Amazon, but this is just, I mean, it's throughout the year too. Maybe not, it's just a lot more heightened in January, February, but like we have to deal with this throughout the year. We don't know if we make a change, we lose a huge source of income for sellers, or even just on a single product. Like I'm terrified to make any changes to my hero product, and I'd imagine that's maybe a similar feeling that you face as well.
Yeah, and also January, of course, people have noticed that it's sold well, and so the copycats start appearing. And well, I actually trademarked the series of my book. You can't trademark a book title, but you can trademark a series. So I trademarked it because I've seen that with the t-shirts, people were trademarking the most ridiculous phrases, and what I didn't want to happen was somebody else trademark it and then have to take my books down. So I got the trademark to protect myself.
I think that makes total sense in your case, though. I mean, when you have 400,000 product sales, I mean, you do need. I mean, I feel like that's a great use of trademarking. Exactly what it's designed for, is to protect your IP.
But then in January, February, you see copycats in the way that the book inside's different, but they've used the same title, and you're thinking, should I take them down or not? Don't know. I do want to take them down. I do take them down in the end, but I have to time it. I time it carefully.
Yeah.
But I think, what are you doing? How stupid are you? You didn't even check on the trademark list, because I've got the trademark in the US and the UK, and Canada's pending. So, you know.
I don't know. It's pretty.
And then
rampant.
you can register the trademarks with Amazon Brand Registry, so they're all listed on Amazon, which I hope gives me some protection.
Well, back to the ACOS. So talking about ACOS, you said you adjust bids based on that. Is it pretty much if it's low ACOS or below what your target is, you're raising them? If it's above it, you're lowering them. So pretty simple.
Yeah, and how far off my target ACOS depends how far I up and down them. So if I'm aiming for 21, 22% would be perfect. Then if it's, say, 15%, I might put them up by 4 or 5 cents. But if it's maybe 20%, I might only put them up by 1 or 2.
Okay, that
and
makes
the
sense.
same going down as well. I mean, if it's well over, I'll just halve them or drop it right down sometimes just to 5 cents to see what happens. But then, of course, you've got to realise that the ACOS it's showing you is based, if you're looking over 7 days and you've changed the target bid 3 days into that, then your ACOS isn't really right until until it's worked its way through.
Which can be where those shorter date ranges come in, especially as just things change so rapidly, those few weeks.
That's why I like to change them manually as well, because then I've got more of a feel for it and more control over it. But that's what takes up a lot of my time in November, December. Because you talk about Black Friday, but Black Friday's the start to me.
It is.
It's not the end, it's the start. And then it starts, it's going up, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop until they stop shipping, and they stop shipping late. And they stop shipping late on products that are selling well, ship later than products that are not selling so well.
Yeah, and if you're new, if you didn't catch the roadmap video for anyone watching, check that out, kind of go through the whole Q4 season and what that looks like. But yeah, Black Friday is very much the real kickoff to the holiday sales season, and Cyber Monday, in my experience, is even bigger than Black Friday. Then you have a drop off, and then there's a continual climb till those shipping dates cut off. And my best sales days are the day before those shipping dates cut off. I mean, double at least what Black Friday and Cyber Monday is. So that's just the start as well. But I'd agree with, I moved to manual bid changes myself, and of course, Merchjar, we have automation tools and so forth. I still have those running to just kind of make those small tweaks, but I am very much hands-on from Black Friday to December 15th, and I think everybody needs to be that's doing any kind of serious spend and high order volume products. You need to be hands-on and changing those manually, looking at today's data, yesterday's, so the last couple days to see the performance and making adjustments based on that. I'm doing this for my handful of best-selling products because those end up. One product is 85% of my revenue plus, so I'm in a similar boat to you. I'm putting all my time and effort in that. The other products, yeah, I'll make some money off those, but it just is peanuts in comparison to what this one product needs or can produce. And that's where the effort needs to go as well. But I'm very much hands on that. I'm kind of letting the automation handle the less selling products. Is that similar to what you do as well?
And people say to me, oh, how, could I find somebody to do my Amazon ads for me? I don't want to do them. I don't understand them, da-da-da. But the only way to learn is to do them yourself. You can't get anybody else to do it for you. Those people wouldn't understand your products the way you do, and they wouldn't understand. You can only learn by doing it yourself, and you have to do it yourself. Merchjar is an excellent tool for helping you to do it yourself. I'm not saying to let Merchjar do everything for you, but to use Merchjar to harvest the keywords takes the drudgery out of it, really, and then you get the interesting bit after that, which is having a look at the data and tweaking it yourself.
I couldn't agree more. So as much as we do automation, and I created this tool because of a lot of those frustrations where it was just so time consuming, I don't ever recommend just letting Merchjar take over completely. It can help a lot, but you should still have eyes on, like through the rest of the year, I recommend still having eyes on your campaigns at least once a week, going through to see what happens. Because honestly, as much as like I set up these different rules and automations, like if this happens, then do this. When it comes to Q4, a lot of what I do is based on gut feel, based on the experience I've gotten through the last several Q4s, where I don't have a specific rules like, okay, when this ACOS is this and this click-through is this and this is this, I'm going to do this. I don't have those specific rules set up, and I don't know that you really can. I think you really need to, it is a very instinctual based on the performance. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Cameron. Otherwise you don't learn what's happening in there. It was only because I was doing it myself and having a good look at it every day. I mean, normally I do it once a week, but when we get to late November, December, I do it every day. It was only through that I spotted these products that enabled me to set up the product ads that let me triple my Q4 income from 2022 to 2023.
So when it comes down to, I think there's like these best practices to have. Yeah, ACOS is high, lower bids. ACOS is low, raise them. Like there's some like rules like that, but it really just, for anybody watching, if you're don't get too caught up in it. Just like jump in. You're gonna test things are gonna fail. You're gonna spend more money than you maybe want to, but it's all just a learning experience every single time. Q4 is tough even for experienced sellers. Like it's tough for me. I'd imagine it's tough for you as well to maximize and squeeze every dollar possible out of it. Like it's just a hard time of year to get right and nail. Like when do you turn lower bids? When do you raise bids? When do you start bringing down your advertising so you get enough profit? If you do it too soon, then you miss out on ranking and sales for later in the holiday season. Like it's just a tough time of year, and like the only way you're going to learn how to navigate it as well as possible is just to do it and like jump in there and do it. But I agree. I don't. It's tough for someone else to manage your ads or just set up full automation and be completely hands off. And it's not something I would recommend. There's tools again like Merchjar that can certainly help take out a lot of the tediousness with it and save hours. But at the end of the day, like you still should be in there. Nothing's going to replace having your eyes, your instincts, your experience with these, knowing when to adjust bids based on what you've seen in the past. So.
I didn't start by knowing exactly what I was doing, and I'm sure you didn't either. The only way we started was with small amounts of money, and it's almost like gambling at the beginning to see what works and what doesn't. And I'm just starting that process with Facebook ads as well. I've never got them to work for me so far, but I'm trying a new strategy. So it's only by starting and having a go. And your first ads are not profitable. You're basically paying to learn, paying to collect data.
Yeah, it's funny you made the gambling analogy. I used to play poker, which I never really considered it as gambling. It was more of investing is how I always saw it. And that's how I consider the Amazon ads too. It's like, yeah, when it comes to Amazon ads when you first start, it may feel like gambling, but what you're really doing is investing in the data. You're investing in collecting the data and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work. And it's just as valuable to know what doesn't work because you can remove that, you can eliminate it. And just that learning experience, you're paying a learning tax just going through all this. So yeah, and my best advice is just to get started. But speaking of advice to maybe some new sellers, you've had experience with multiple Q4 seasons. Is there any other additional advice you would offer to these sellers, especially those that may be navigating their first holiday season this year? And is there any common mistakes you've observed or learned that maybe they should be cautious of themselves?
As far as advertising goes, you've just got to get in there and have a go. It's not helpful to say, I don't know how to do it and I'm not going to do it. I mean, the lottery ads are a good place to start if you're unsure. And even if you've got a few products, even if you've got 10 products, it's worth starting lottery ads. And I think you were discussing in your previous video that I watched about setting up a separate lottery campaign for the sweatshirts, because you get higher ACOS on the sweatshirts, or you can work to a higher ACOS. So the lottery ads would be the place I would start. People spend money on coffee, don't they? They say to me, I've discussed it with people, they say, oh, I can't spend $50 a month on advertising. Well, you spend it on coffee, don't you? If you go and buy a coffee every day, you're spending more than that on coffee. Why not put that money into advertising instead? See if it works for you, and give it a go with a lottery campaign.
Yeah,
start your
100%.
bid
It's
slow,
a mindset.
start your budget slow.
Yeah, I would say it's a mindset. It's the people that feel like they're setting their money on fire because the ads didn't work don't have the right mindset with advertising and using that as a learning experience.
Yes, I agree. I mean, not all my advertising works, especially when I've tried advertising away from Amazon. So I run other ads apart from my Amazon ads. I run Pinterest ads. In Q4, I run Reddit ads. I tried Reddit ads last year. It was interesting because I think some of my target market may be on Reddit. I don't fully know Reddit. I don't understand it, but I've got young adult children. They're not really children, and they're big on Reddit. Or maybe they're not anymore. I have no idea. TikTok is another thing I've been giving a go, but I haven't tried ads on there yet because you need a certain number of followers before they let you advertise, and I haven't got that far yet. And then Pinterest, yes, Pinterest, and Facebook. I'm giving Facebook another go with another strategy. I've never got them to work before, but I'm trying.
But you're trying. Like it's that willingness to experiment and learn. I love that you pointed out that the advertising doesn't, even for us that are experienced, like a lot of the advertising doesn't work. I would say most advertising doesn't work for everybody. I mean, even if you have a 10% conversion rate across all your campaigns, that means 90% of your advertising didn't work. I mean, so even the most successful advertisers are failing 90% of the time. That's just part of the game. You're getting lots of clicks that don't convert into orders. It's all about finding that 5 or 10% that does, but you can only do that through experimentation. So you have to be willing to fail when it comes to advertising.
I think you have to be open to new ideas as well, new things. I mean, I didn't think about Reddit till last year. I've got a new book out last week, and I'm going to try some PR boxes. And I paid a PR person in the States as well this year for a couple of months to try and get me into some of the gift guides, because last year I got into one organically.
Wow.
Quite a big magazine, and I want to see if I can do that with a PR person. And we don't know yet. I may have spent all that money for nothing. I haven't heard good reports about other people that have tried it, but I thought it was worth giving a go. So you have to be open to experimenting. You have to put some of your profit into almost play money or fun money, not money that you're going to go mad with in that respect. Don't mean run off to Vegas or something, but I mean you're going to use it to experiment with and try new things, and not all of them will work. And I also try and invest in new courses each year, do something new. And I'm gearing obviously more towards the marketing kind of courses than other things. And I've got websites now, a couple of websites, and I've got an email list since we last spoke as well.
Okay. So definitely diving in, kind of very diverse beyond just Amazon ads. But I mean, you got the start on Amazon ads, is my understanding, right? Like this all kind of started with products in Amazon ads, then branching into other things.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon ads are 90% of what I do, for sure, because the people are already on the platform. They're already looking for things to buy. The other stuff is more about driving them to Amazon, where they say that somebody's got to see something 7 times before they buy it.
Sure.
So if they've seen it on Pinterest and then they see it in, I don't know, a magazine, and then they see it on Amazon, we're in with more of a chance, aren't we?
Exactly. I think this is some great advice and the perfect way to end our conversation. Janice, thanks so much for being on today. I wish you the best of luck this Q4, even bigger than last year. And I can't wait to do this again.
You too, Cameron.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I hope you hit your $10,000 day. That's what you're looking for.
Oh, yeah, that is. That was last year. I just missed. The cutoff time happened a day sooner than I expected it to. I think I would have got it and it didn't. But yeah, that's the goal this year. So yeah.
You'll have to tell Amazon to ship a bit later.
Yeah, give us one more day. Thanks so much for being on the show today, and can't wait to have you back and hear about all of your success this Q4.
Oh, thank you for having me, Cameron. It's been lovely to talk to you.
Thanks so much. Until next time, thanks for tuning in, and see you in the next video.